told it is peace and love and healing and understanding to all mankind is what I've pretty much programmed into this. As you can see now, what is it? Is I'm going to twist this up, right? And I'm going to put little, like, things like this, these kind of strands, all wrapped in and around it. So, it'll be like a double helix, and like our DNA, and magic is in everything. Information in our DNA is pure magic, and it's not just any magic, it's divine magic. So what I'm using and what I'm doing, I'm tapping into a very ancient method of charm work and magic, and it's profound. It's something that most people aren't aware of. Like, I took something this simple, see, right? I took something this simple and I turned it into something magnificent and beautiful and intricate, and it took me so much time to weave this. It is now 4:15, and I've been working on this since 8 a.m. in the morning. So, I mean, when you think about it that way, it's highly more involved and special than what it looks like on the surface, and that's what these lessons are gonna entail for today. Okay, this is just a mere fraction of a trillionth of what it takes to conduct divine magical healing. Just a fraction. Okay, of a trillionth. So it's infinitesimally small. It's an infinitesimally small portion, and yet, look at all this. Look at how much there is here. It's all you need. Like, you only need just that tiny bit. You could have more. You could go for more. Obviously. But our understanding, our capabilities of understanding these things are not on that level to do so. However, I, as the blessed with my super smart magical alien brain, or soul, whatever. To me, the mind is connected to the brain, and the mind is just the same thing as the soul. That's what the soul is. It's your mind. It's your consciousness. That's what consciousness is. It's your soul, people. It's your brain. It's your mind. It's all those good things in the squishy parts of in your brain. Cabbage, in here. This is where the pineal gland, the third eye is your pineal gland. It's a real fucking thing. We have scientific, documented, and everybody just is like, no, it's not real. And it's like, why do you think that? Why do you think that? No, really, I'm asking you seriously, why do you think that? Because someone told you that. Well, guess what? Somebody lied. Okay? Somebody fucking lied to you about what magic really is, about what art really is, about what life really is, and what life really means, and what DNA actually looks like and is. And what it does, and it contains millions and trillions and trillions and trillions and okay, like a real DNA helix is 5 times as long than this, okay, and it just goes on and 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 on. It's like almost as if it goes on forever. Like there's no beginning and no end to it. Alright? No beginning and no end in sight. I mean, there's a stopping point for every being. But even that, it's so large. And yet it's so infinitesimally small. And then you go in and you look, at each little nug contains one different piece of information, and then the grooves in which it goes is telling it what to do. Okay? Knot magic and weaving and braiding are all based, all go back to this DNA. This divine principle, this magic, this containing, this compacting of information, okay? So each little knot, each little notch, each little everything, and as you can see here, I also started, like, okay, so, and it just like how DNA works, right? You finish at one part, and then it starts on a new one, and it's small. Starts out small like this, and it goes on to wrapping itself around in the same way as it did in the very beginning, in a lesser way. So it's like a wave upon a wave upon a wave upon a wave, a loop within a loop within a loop, looping. A loop within a loop within a loop, looping, and then a wave upon a wave, waving. Alright? So, and there's way more to it than this, okay? You can put in any kind of information, any kind of specific thing, and you can turn it into a charm and an amulet. And all of the information that you focused on while you were knotting it, it's now wrapped in here, like your DNA, and it's forever, it's permanent, you know, and it's like it's really strong, contains very powerful, deep magic within it, and I'm not finished with it yet, you know, but as soon as I am, it's gonna be like this, right? And then it's going to be like that on both sides all the way down. And it's going to wrap around it. And it's going to be like a giant necklace of sorts. But it's not going to be a necklace, really. It's a DNA helix. It's a magical helix of DNA. And magical information that's being stored into this yarn. Do you guys grasp the profound preciseness of this spell work, okay? This, most people take one look at it and they run. They're like, that's advanced spell work. And it is advanced, but it's simple. It's not hard to do. Anybody can do this if they know, if they have the wherewithal and the determination to do it. It's not even hard, really. All you're doing is knotting, weaving, braiding, and looming. That's all. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. Alright? So, and then certain notches, like, see how there is a knot right there? Okay? That little knot in between braids, it's a marker for what's to come. Okay, so it's like you're telling It's your telling you to stop place so you can make another one of these and loop it and connect it. Kind of like how I did with all those. And then you weave it. And I'm going to show you how to do just that. Okay? So we're going to play some awesome music while we're doing this that has magical and uplifting connotations as to infuse this with good stuff. So I woke up very refreshed and happy this morning, even though I had a rough night the night before. And I was thinking about it. I was thinking to myself, and I was like, how can I reach certain people and help them understand it a little more better, a little more clearly, how magic is connected to everything, and that anybody and everyone can simply tap into it. And I'm going to show you guys a bunch of different methods, not just the knot magic, but different charms and methods that are inherent throughout paganism and magical witchcraft cultures. And like all very good witches know this. Like all materials are natural on some level and can be used in magic. Yep. Like there's no law of like, oh, you can't use that because it's unnatural or it's less natural than everything else. No. And understanding science as well as art and philosophy and faith and spirituality all ties in with understanding what magic is all about. So, you know, you've been told as a child, like, and I don't know why we stopped believing this. Okay? You were told as a child and you believed as a child magic is everywhere. Okay? It's in the entertainment we watch, the stories we share, the songs we sing and dance to. It's in the warm smile of a loving friend. It's in the handshake and a hug of a complete stranger who's just met you and you're sitting at the bus stop bawling your eyes out contemplating suicide. Okay, magic is in everything and everywhere, and it's in our hearts. It's in love and it's in kindness. Now, yes, I'm not saying magic can't be very dark as well, or very, it can be misused for evil. But see, even dark magic, underneath all of that darkness, all the turmoil, all the pain, all the heartbreak and hardship, it's going to make you stronger. Okay? And it serves its own purpose. A positive one, a very positive one. And I'm going to say this very clearly for everybody to hear. You can't see the stars without night. You can't. Like, go outside right now during the day, look up at the sky and tell me, oh yeah, I see tons of beautiful stars in the Milky Way. And now we even know, like, you've got too much light. Like light pollution, we can't really see the stars in the same way or as well as we would if it not been for so much light. Okay? So certain types of light can even be negative if they're misused, because it drowns out the more spectacular lights that need to shine in the darkness and can only shine in the darkness. And then the darkness gets perverted as well. These things get misused because people get confused and mixed up about what each of these things mean. And these things don't mean those things. They mean it's all for everybody's personal growth and benefit. So, I mean, I'm just trying to explain it in the best way that I can. I don't know if this is making any sense or if this is ringing true for any of you, but it definitely rings true for me. And so why do I do these silly videos with all this crazy music and these costumes and that are so far out there and strange and weird? And why do I make jokes and maintain a positive demeanor and do all this magic that looks really strange and not like magic to most people? But then I look at the magic that people are doing. Okay, the magic people are doing or practicing or thinking that it's magic, and it's just a fucking perversion. It has no essence. It's just an empty ritual. Or worse, it's a curse. Or worse, it's being misused somehow. And okay, when you have some weird bias where it's like, well, this is magic, but this isn't, you might as well just say, no, there is no magic at all. You can't exclude from like one type of magic being not magic and then another type being magic. You can't. Everything is either magical and natural, or none of it is. And we're all here by some random chance mistake. That's grainy. That's a grainy reality to live in. I would hope not. And I don't believe that. I believe anything is possible if we put our minds to it and work together in peace and harmony. So that's what this represents. And it's a big symbol for being like, yeah, we're all living beings. We all have DNA. Not a single one of us does not have DNA. It's all different to some degree, and no two strands of DNA are quite alike. I mean, they all bear some very key similarities, but they're not all the same. But we're all one with this. And this offers such peace and comfort, especially for people who can't or don't see it yet, or are struggling with some really hard things in their lives, whether it's drugs, depression, anorexia, you name it, an abusive boyfriend or husband or girlfriend, like all these things. DNA. And people are wary of it, they think everybody else is just dumb and I'm the only one who knows, and it don't work that way either. It's like, no, everybody knows it's in our DNA, you see, but sometimes we just forget what we know, and that makes things upsetting and confusing. So anyway, here we go. So I'm gonna take this. And this is just a braid. What I'm doing here.
Summer, it's like a merry-go-round.
So, see what I'm doing here is I'm knotting another piece of yarn on top of it. Because what I'm going to do is so I can flatten it out straight like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave it in and out.
We came here to France and found these red-fleshed apples. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It has a very refreshing taste and a pink rosé hue.
Look at it, and it's going.
So hard to take. There's no escape without a scream. But you kept it going till the sun fell down. You kept it going.
Second, and we're going to cut to a little movie here.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Dan Winter. I'm a psychophysiologist. I work in biofeedback and have discovered some very interesting things about the electrical nature of emotion. And in the process of doing that, we've been doing frequency signatures or harmonics of the heart at the moments when people feel bliss and joy and compassion. And we've discovered that at moments when people have intense emotions, their heart creates frequency pictures which are a powerful indicator that they're doing something electrical inside their body when they have emotions. And recently, with my friend Will here, we've been having these conversations about this Technocalypse television documentary that's kind of sweeping Europe. And we're a little troubled about a certain part of that. It has to do with the way in which they seem to be urging you to consider using little microchips and other ways to include machinery as part of biology. And they're kind of saying, well, there's nothing sacred about the shape of the body and the electricity of the heart, and machines can be doing this better. And so then we're actually stuck in the middle of something of a quandary, because my work on emotion has suggested to me that we could actually answer a profound question about what is the purpose of DNA in an entirely new way, which gives us a completely different view of what we should be doing with the relationship of technology to biological substances. So our little fun answer to this question of what is the purpose of DNA is very brief. It's called Bliss and the Magnetic X. And that's really the subject of our little story today. And it has to do with this idea that we believe we've discovered some secrets, some visions to exactly how human passionate, bliss-related emotion actually gets into the genetic material. And therefore, emotion's ability to program and shape, and we're going to talk about braid the DNA, has everything to do with the genetic material having been in this profound shape which nature put it in. And if we go messing in there with this genetic engineering and all these chips in your cells, we stand to actually affect dramatically whether or not emotion can continue to program DNA. So in order to tell you this story, I'm going to show you some pictures of what we're calling the magnetic X generation. And it's kind of play on words from this old story of there's this, we had this post-World War II generation, the baby boom, and then there was the X generation. And the notion here is that if you feel enough bliss, it has an effect on your DNA, and we'll see that's been measured. So your DNA becomes a magnetic X. It's kind of a fun notion. So here are the pictures. First, we look at this idea that, in fact, the X chromosome, which sort of determines what it is that makes woman versus man, actually has a magnetic field around it. This field is based on the geometry of the microtubules at the moment of cell meiosis or mitosis, cell division. And so you see that really this division of the DNA, the cell division moment of this living cell, is dependent on whether the X chromosome is literally, in a sense, magnetic. So the timing of cell replication, which when it's orderly it's not cancer, and when it's disorderly it is cancer, is dependent upon a magnetic field to align the microtubules and the DNA in this lovely ritual dance. So if the magnetic field's messed up, obviously the timing of cell division is going to be messed up. So we need to understand, where does the magnetic field around DNA come from? This is a picture from the early, and you can even zoom in right here. This is the early X-ray photographs of DNA when they first tried to model genetic material as having a double helix. The Watson and Crick moment was when they were able to interpret this magnetic X. They made an X-ray photograph. They said, oh, the only way you could cast an X-ray shadow of the DNA protein was...
Okay. And I'll be back with the next part to this shortly. And you guys can see how much progress I'll have made by then after I'm done loading. And then I'll also finish what this guy's got to say about